Welcome everybody to our chapter review from our Packet Tracer for CCNA text. This is chapter 16 and it is all about OSPF version 2. This one, I think we should read ahead. At least that's what I'm going to do. We need to enable OSPF on any active interfaces of R1, any active IP interfaces, I should say, and we don't get to use the network command. On R2, we're going to be using the network command for active IP interfaces, and we have to use the most specific possible. That would be a wildcard mask of quad 0. Same on step 3 for R3. And then, glad I'm reading ahead, step 4, we want to do an OSPF network type of point-to-point, and then verify and save. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tackle the OSPF network types. Sure, that way when my adjacencies come up, I don't have to re-engineer them at all. So let's go to this R1 device right here and let's get into global configuration mode, and then let's get in the interface gig 0/0 configuration mode, and let's say IP OSPF network. You can do context sensitive help, but there is the point-to-point option. So IP OSPF network point-to-point. Boy, I can copy this command to the clipboard. I can end and save, and then I've got that command on the clipboard for the R2 device where we're going to be pasting it in to two different interfaces. So why don't I do an interface range? Yeah, go into the interface range for both gig 0/0 and 0/1, and then paste in our OSPF command, end and save. By the way, could you verify this config? Sure, and that's not a bad idea. I could say show IP OSPF interface gig 0/0, except that's not going to work yet because we don't have OSPF up and running. So I'll just go ahead and save and keep moving on here to R3. R3's config, let's see, we're going to be on gig 0/1 there. So enable, configure terminal, interface gig 0/1, paste in our command, still on the clipboard, end and save. So we will be verifying the configuration of the OSPF network type of point-to-point a little bit later on in this exercise. Now I'll go ahead and cycle back to step 1, enable OSPF on any active IP interfaces, and we can't use the network command. All right, well, what I better do here is a show IP interface brief. And the reason I'm doing this, of course, is to see all of the active IP interfaces, and there is 2 of those. There's the gig 0/0, and then there's loopback 0. So we're going to say interface gig 0/0. I chuckled because I almost said IP router. I almost used our router OSPF command, but that's not what we need to do here. Because we can't use the network command, we're going to enable OSPF on an interface by interface basis. So IP OSPF, we can use any process ID we want here. So I'll just stick with 1, and it's area 0. Yeah, we're in the CCNA exam here, so there is not going to be multi-area OSPF. So you will be configuring your backbone area 0. I can now say interface loopback 0, and then up arrow on the keyboard to recall that previous command, and we are now ready to do an end and a save. All right, this will be a little more exciting. We're going to go over to R2, and why I say it's going to be a little bit more exciting is we'll actually see an adjacency come up now, I hope, and that would be the adjacency between R2 and R1. Now on R2, we need to use the network command and use it as specific as possible. So I'm going to start out with do show IP interface brief. Whoa, we've got, of course, 3 interfaces here we need to enable OSPF on, and we have to do it the old school way. So I say router OSPF 1, I indicate network 10.12.12.2 on all zeros wildcard mask and on area 0. Now, we should get an adjacency up at this point. Yeah, we should neighbor with the R1 device at this point. And there it is. So do I need to verify that neighborship? Well, ordinarily I would say no. But in this case, we do want to do a quick verification because we want to make sure it's a point-to-point neighborship. So I'm going to do show IP OSPF neighbor, and look at that. We have a full neighborship and there is no DR or BDR. Yes, the point-to-point configuration was successful. Okay, now I'm going to continue with my configuration here. You might want to copy paste in your exam. That would be a great idea to avoid any kind of typos. So there is the IP address and there is my quad 0 mask, and I say area 0, and we need to do this one more time, and that is for our quad 2 that is on the loopback. So network and then paste and then quad 0, area 0, end, and save. All right, we've got one more router that we need to be concerned about. That is the R3 device. And I will start with a show IP interface brief. Once again, we're going to be using specific network commands over here. So I'm going to say router OSPF 1. I'm going to say net. I will copy. I will paste. I will use our all zeros wildcard mask, which remember is saying, yeah, scrutinize every bit of these 32 bits and make sure it's an exact match. And this is for area 0. I'm going to pause right here because an adjacency should establish. Yeah. And I suppose there's no need to pause. We're just wasting time. So let me go ahead and put in the last of our network statements. And I'm sure you noticed it too. We did have the adjacency come up. So that is wonderful. And we're going to end. And before we save, we'll do a show IP OSPF neighbor. And look at that. We have that full neighborship with no DR, BDR because we are point to point. I'm going to save one more time and save a third time. I am so paranoid that I don't have my configuration saved. And before I wrap up this video, let's talk about a couple of things here. The first thing I wanted to mention to you is I don't over-verify. Yeah, I no longer over-verify. So did you notice the verifications I did as I was moving through this lab? Yeah, that's all I would do, honestly. Maybe if I was going to do anything else, I might do a show IP route OSPF over here on R3. And maybe I might ping the quad 1 loopback just to ensure that we have full reachability. And of course, that would be pinging from R3 to the loopback of the R1 device. And notice we do have full connectivity in this topology. So that would be absolutely it. Don't get in this habit of over-verifying your topology. As you know, if you're doing your straightforward verifications like we did as we are moving through and configuring things, there is no need to, gosh, students get so carried away with this. They're just like, show IP. Oh, by the way, I will show the IP OSPF interface command now. We didn't show that earlier. And if you were to look at your show IP OSPF interface for gig 0/1 as an example, notice this is where you get the ultimate verification that you are point to point. But I just relied on show IP OSPF neighbor, seeing that there was no DR or BDR, and knowing that I had configured the point-to-point links. Notice I didn't have to do this verification step. One last thing I wanted to talk to you about in this little review, kind of like bonus stuff, is notice the router ID. So router IDs were selected here based on the loopback addresses, but just don't forget you can easily control the router ID. So let's say I wanted to make sure that the router ID, for whatever reason, on this R3 device was this IP address. Well, no problem. I could copy that IP address. I could go under OSPF and I could simply say router ID and paste that value in. And I love that the OSPF gives us a hint here, and that is that, okay, we already have a router ID, so that change is is not going to automatically take effect. We need to do a reload or a clear IP OSPF process for it to take effect. Well, I don't know about you, but I am not going to want to reload any router in my CCNA exam. Oh my gosh, yeah. I want to avoid reloading if I can. So I'll stick to the clear IP OSPF process command. It says, do you want to reset all OSPF processes? I say yes. It's going to bounce the neighborship that we have. But if I rerun our show IP OSPF interface command as an example, after the neighborship has come back up, we can see, sure enough, that our router ID is now the physical IP address on this device. So just wanted to cover that as a little bit of bonus material. We didn't have to do anything special with router ID in this scenario, but it certainly could rear its head in your CCNA exam, as that is certainly in scope. Well, you know what there is to do now. One last thing, we cross our fingers and our toes and we check our results, and look at that. We did a great job completing all tasks successfully for this activity. Thank you so much for joining me, and plenty more chapter reviews left, so I hope to see you there.